According to Prather, we woke with the morning light and wound down into sleep as the sun disappeared. Today, we have electricity, technology, and schedules that are not so much governed by the natural world as by the new digital one we have created. So have you ever played a video game? I picture a video game and sleep very similar, because with a video game, you're allowed to reset and have a fresh new start. And with sleep, that is something we get to use every single day as a restart, and it can be very beneficial to us for the rest of our lives. So what sleep allows for our body, it allows for our brains to really slow down and our bodies to really slow down. It is great for recovery, especially physically, because if you do a lot of weightlifting, when you tear those muscle fibers down, sleep is the #1 way to fully recover, and it allows for muscles to grow, and it is great for your body. And it is also great for your mental performance. So learning how to get proper sleep and understanding the science of sleep can have great positive effects on your overall life and your health. So sleep is a period of rest, and it is recommended that you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. And sleep is caused by the pineal gland, which is between the brain's two major parts, and it receives signals throughout the day, and it creates melatonin. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of melatonin. And melatonin is the natural hormone in your body. That is what makes you feel sleepy. But so a lot of you probably heard of like melatonin gummies, which is provided for people that need help falling asleep. I've taken a melatonin one time, and it actually made me tired till 1 o'clock the next day. So it just depends on how sleepy you get, but it can cause nausea, headache, and sometimes uncontrolled sleepiness, like I had stated. And according to AbbVie, sleep quality seems to vary according to a number of factors, including income, race, gender, and geographic area. A sleep study was performed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, otherwise known as the CDC, and they found that around 25%, or around 1 in 4 men, or adults, don't get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. They found that 15% of adults struggled to get the initial shut-eye, and 18% of adults struggle with staying asleep. For younger people, the main struggle is usually just to fall asleep. We have a lot of things that distract us, and another thing is the melatonin, like I had explained before, is made later in the night in younger people, which is why they're more prone to stay up late. And for older people, their problem is usually staying asleep, because the melatonin is made earlier in the day, so it's actually pretty easy for them to fall asleep. But they have less of a growth hormone in their body, which is what younger people have, and that's what really causes older people to not be able to stay asleep. And some ways that you can sleep better. According to Prather, the biggest block to a good night's sleep is our daytime behavior, and this is where his 6-step plan comes into play. The first thing is set an internal clock. Basically means wake up and go to bed the exact same time every day. I mean, not the exact same, but go to bed at 11, wake up at 7, wake up, go to sleep around the exact same time, and wake up around the same time. With you doing this, it's going to set that internal clock, like I had stated. It's going to be good for the future to come. And a lot of people like to say that they're catching up on sleep over the weekend. That just doesn't happen. You can get more sleep on the weekend, but he had stated in his thing that if you're sleeping more on weekends but waking up at around 7 or 6 on weekdays, you're actually putting yourself into a state of jet lag, which is actually very interesting. Another thing is getting up with a reason. For me, some things that I've done if I knew I really needed to wake up and I did not need to sleep in extra is set an alarm, but put the phone on like the other side of your room. That will make you have to get up out of your bed and go to the alarm clock to turn it off, which that initial getting out of your bed is going to help you get your blood flowing and get you started for your morning. Another thing is reward yourself for getting up, or tell yourself that you're going to reward yourself. For me, when I wake up, I always tell myself, well, I'm going to go make breakfast, and I get really excited because I love to eat. Another thing is learning to relax. Managing your stress is the main one. There's a few ways you can do that. #1 is working out. It's my personal favorite. If I'm ever feeling stressed, I usually just stop exactly what I'm doing and go work out. And it's like magic. I'm usually with no stress after that. It's very great. Avoid drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol has never been the answer, and especially for stress, so I wouldn't do drugs or alcohol when trying to manage your stress. So talk with people. You could even find a support group. Finding a support group might be your thing. Just talking to people that have similar stresses and similar issues in their life. Another thing is just take some breaks. If I'm doing calculus for 2 hours, I might take a 15-minute break, and it allows me to really slow down and understand that what I'm stressing over really has no overall impact on my life. And second is have a good diet. Having complex carbs such as potatoes, oats, and whole grains are great for you to fall asleep and for you to stay asleep. And things such as saturated fats and simple carbs usually are not as good. And get an energy boost throughout the day. This doesn't mean to drink coffee throughout the day. Caffeine can stay in your system for up to 10 hours, which is why they also recommend, like when you take pre-workout before working out, you don't take it within 6 hours of whenever you think you're gonna go to sleep, because it can affect how you sleep and when you fall asleep. So sometimes I've taken it at 9 at night and I'm up till 2 in the morning because it doesn't really wear off until like 10 hours later. But and take naps. Take advantage of the fact that you can take naps, but don't nap too much. Nap between 20 to 30 minutes max, because if you nap too much, it's going to cut into the time when you should be sleeping at night, and it's going to mess up your internal clock. So worry earlier as well. It's kind of interesting. You might think, well, how do y'all worry earlier? Well, spend time during the day for your worrying, which honestly you could just say, well, don't worry at all. But obviously as humans, we're going to worry. So for me, when I lay down, that's about the time whenever I start to worry. But if you can worry more during the day and start focusing on that during the day instead of whenever you're trying to go to sleep, it's going to be better for you to fall asleep. And lastly, working into sleep mode, which is the best thing you can do. Dim the lights and don't get too engaged. As people like my age, we are usually on our cell phones or playing video games before we go to sleep, and we're all worked up and we're engaged in that. And so whenever it comes time to go to sleep, our brain is still at 100 miles per hour, and which is one way is why it's hard for us to fall asleep. Set goals for yourself. If I set a goal and say, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock tonight and wake up at 7 in the morning, and I do this for a week, just knowing that I could do that is going to motivate me to sleep better because I have accomplished goals. So don't cram in your work at night. For people like my age, we usually want to do our schoolwork at nighttime and just spend the day doing random things. So don't cram in your work at night. Save time during the day to do that. Last few things is read. I've recently taken on reading. I try to read about 30 minutes every day. It's actually been very beneficial. Bathe and listen to some soft music. I've done that a couple times. And according to Brown, established advantages of good sleep include reduced stress, better immune function, lower blood pressure, and better mood. So like I said before, take advantage of sleep. Sleep is our reset that we get to use every single day. Take advantage of it and really learn to have good sleep and learn how you can fall asleep better. So after all, sleep is the necessity for overall health and our lives.